Japan up close.
I finished my studies in Italy at the University of Computer Science in Verona. I got lucky with receiving a scholarship from the Monbug Gakusho. And with that, I entered the Tokyo Institute of Technology in the laboratory of Professor Hirose, who is worldwide famous for making the first snake robot in the world. So that was the beginning of my experience in Japan. I did my studies, master, another PhD, and then at the time I thought that I really wanted to bring these technologies to the society to help people. So I decided to try to open a startup company. Well, I believe that Japan is in the first place for the field of robotics. It's a matter of fact that actually in Japan there is the largest production of machines like for factory automations. Robotics, it's a very wide term, so it includes from factory automation items to entertainment machines. But especially in Japan there is this attitude in having robotics for several applications, so people are looking forward to those solutions. Japan has worked a lot in innovating several industries, especially in the past, and between the 70s to the 90s, and that I think generated a very strong image for Japan. It's a matter of fact that having the company in Japan gives us also the opportunity to show high quality technologies to abroad. So I think in that period, especially, there was this capability of Japan to differentiate itself from other countries. Still, right now, it is ongoing for different other technologies, so it is still keeping that position. I often been requested to give talks about how Japanese companies are moving in the business area, and it is true. Sometimes you have a model that may work here, but it doesn't work abroad, and that's because of the people, I think, also. So we need really to understand, especially in the B2C field, you need to understand really how consumers would be using those solutions, and that's why there are some of them that are really peculiar to Japan only and not in other countries. We are making machines for those dangerous, dirty, and demanding areas. So we consider those specific needs and we make the tool. It could be a snake robot, but it could be something different. So it's not a machine that normally, of course, we hope that they can be utilized for other applications, but normally they're very specific to those areas. In our case, more B2B is for the inspection and maintenance of infrastructures. So we see people going in very dangerous spaces, areas, and we try to give them tools so that they can make their job safer and more reliable. Well, we're working right now on an interesting machine, which is a long reach arm, 5 meters longer, later will be even longer. And we're looking at having that being used for the inspection of, for example, the aircraft fuel tanks, where there are people nowadays, I don't know if you're aware of that, but there are people entering in the wings of the aircraft to check of the status of those structures. And it's a very tough environment with fuel and no light and so on. So we're making a machine that could take those kind of applications, but at the same time, it can be utilized also for oil and gas and chemical plants, where there are, for example, vessel tanks with a lot of chemicals inside. And nowadays, there are people entering those areas, and it's not a nice job, basically. So those people will be basically staying in a safe area, and at the same time, will be also helping those users in decreasing the costs that are related to those inspections, because you don't have to make a safe environment before the person will enter in the space, because you won't enter anymore. So this machine is a sort of snake-like arm, and we're going to present it around the summer. So I'm very looking forward to show it to everybody. From the very beginning, what we decided to do with our company was to help people. So that's our very strong goal, apart from the fact if there is business or not behind that. We really wanted to help people. So our industrial robots are aiming at making, as I mentioned, the job of people easier, better, and also more repeatable, let's say. So I think that is our philosophy, and we will keep it in our minds. So, for example, we have a system that was deployed with the Civil Defense Force in Singapore for searching of people among rubble when there is an earthquake. And that's another application that is very particular for Japan, also for Italy at the same time, because of the number of earthquakes. Our society has been planned according to people. So we are trying to force the research to make humanoid robots exactly like people. But I think, and that's also a vision that we had since the beginning at the university and even in this company, it doesn't have to be a humanoid robot. I mean, you can have mechanism that can help people, but it doesn't have a perfect humanoid robot. Still, this research is bringing a lot of results, especially for people that need support in some of their daily operations, and we can see that this is actually improving. So those solutions maybe can be seen soon, but I strongly believe that a humanoid robot, perfect humanoid robot, is still far away. Even though we don't have a humanoid robot right now, for example, in our houses, still Japan is making a lot of research on it, and eventually part of those researches will be taken into a specific solution. So Japan, I think, will keep on contributing on this field. There's just a need of a bit more, like how can I say, will to try more rather than keeping solutions inside within laboratories. Even in our case, our company was the 20th of the university. Now there are many, many more. So I can tell that there is a different approach towards startups. What it is good to see is the attention of big corporations toward the startup companies. Before, it was not really so high. And before, I mean, a few years back, with the possibly also the new regulation that will help big corporations in decreasing their tax load by investing in startups. It's also another good tool that will push big corporations in investing in startups. A few years back, it was not like that compared to other countries. So I'm really looking forward for what is coming up in the next few years.
Japan up close.